This episode of Not Too Deep is brought to you by our good buddies at Squarespace, who remind you to turn your great idea into a reality with Squarespace. Squarespace makes it easier than ever to launch your passion project, whether you're showcasing your work or selling products of any kind. With beautiful templates and the ability to customize just about anything, you can easily make a beautiful website yourself. And if you do get stuck, Squarespace's 24/7 award-winning customer support is there to help. Head to squarespace.com/grace for your free trial, and when you're ready to launch, use the offer code GRACE to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
Not too deep, not too deep with Grace Helbig.
Hello, Grace.
Hello, Jack Berry. We have one, we have an amazing guest with us today, but two, we have a lot of stuff not on our side. My voice has been hammered to death.
Yeah.
And there are actual hammers.
And there are actual hammers going on. So there's a little bit of construction going on underneath our podcast HQ.
You'll hear that all throughout the episode.
Only a little bit, actually.
It might dip
It's not
in
that
and dip
bad.
out. You know, when it does, the gross side of me says take a drink every time you hear it. But based on our guests, my advice would be, learn something new every time you hear it.
Yes, exactly. I would say that your voice actually doesn't sound that bad in the episode.
Yeah, no, I was worried yesterday that I was going to sound, because I understand the frustration of listening for a lengthy amount of time to someone with a voice that doesn't work. It gives you anxiety.
Yeah, for sure.
So I hope not to induce any anxiety, and instead just to induce like sensuality.
Appropriate.
Do I want to do that? No, I take that back too. I just hope you enjoyed this episode. No, Alyson Stoner is with us today, and she's amazing.
Yeah, she was, wow. Oh my God.
I know, Jack and I are still like reeling from the wisdom and knowledge and just like introspection and curiosity that she has in her.
Yeah, I'm like, can you be my guru?
I mean, yeah.
She's so like
She's
wise.
been working as a dancer and a musician and a performer and a model for like 20 years.
Yeah.
She just turned 25, and it's nuts. So like, what's that? The 4/5 of her life has been taken up in the entertainment industry, yet somehow, somehow she is still so curious about the world, knowledgeable, and just like seeks out information. And at the end of the day, it just makes me feel like a real turd.
No, that's not how I felt
full
too.
turd.
And she's like telling us about all of like the nonprofits and things that she does. I was just like, man, you've really got it together.
And she's
Did you
just
teach me?
starting. I know. And I'm like, I watched a documentary a couple weeks ago, so I'm pretty good.
Yeah, I am playing my part.
No, she's actually going to these places and helping people and doing things. And that's what I think is really fascinating, because I think a lot of people only see her as a dancer or a musician or the girl that was on Disney or any of that. So I think it's really wonderful to hear her talk as like an adult woman. In the world that has experiences that form these philosophies, and she's still developing, which is really so inspiring to hear.
Yeah, I agree. I have a question for you, Grace. Because in the interview, we talked a little bit about like traveling for reasons other than like leisure or work, like going for like, a sort of spiritual journey, things like that. Have you ever thought about doing something like that? Like going on like a spiritual
like
traveling?
Like an Eat, Pray, Love-ish?
Potentially. Yeah. Or just I want to go to this place to like, not because I need a vacation, not because I need to work. I just want to go there and sort of like expand my horizons. I'm
starting to think about that more and more. I feel like most of my travel that's happened throughout my life has, excuse me, been motivated by work in some way, but it hasn't. I still got to experience the place or the thing or whatever it was.
Sure.
What about you?
Yeah, so I've been thinking about doing those kinds of traveling more, because I normally only travel for like vacations or like for work, and I've been like trying to learn Spanish.
Yeah,
and so the idea of like maybe traveling as being more than just like I'm gonna go fart around the beach for a week, and being more like I want to explore something and really expand my horizons.
Something. Yeah, I'm with you. I feel like the idea, I mean, I've always said since I was younger, when people ask, like, what would you be doing if you weren't doing YouTube? My first instinct a lot of times is travel blogging in some way.
Sure.
I love watching people travel vlogs. I love reading about people's experiences, because I think that's a lot of what travel is experiencing it. And you can internalize that and, have your own just personal journey with it. But I also think it's interesting to share with other people, especially I think there's a lot of fear in traveling. because it's
I have
over.
all of it.
I do too. Even though I've
Yeah.
traveled a ton, I still have all the fears of just like going out and finding a place to eat by myself or doing
same.
that sort of thing that I think being able to share other personal experiences in your travel sort of diaries is like part of the experience to me. I think
So is there one place you would want to go that you haven't been to yet? Not necessarily in that realm, but just some place you've always wanted to go.
I've never been to Japan.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, and Thailand would be really cool. I'm going to Tasmania.
Oh, that's wild.
I'm going to Australia at the
Cool.
End of August and going for VidCon and going out a little earlier
Sure.
and going to Tasmania for a couple days because it's right there.
Yeah,
And-
why not? Very
and
cool.
It looks beautiful, so I'm excited. So I like more just making more of travel, I guess, when it's happening. Like,
Sure.
where else can I go?
Right.
But yeah, it sounds like Alyson's on her way to do some real Eat, Pray, Love stuff.
Yeah, it was just such a great and inspiring interview. She's such a lovely person.
Yeah, and I highly recommend if you guys don't follow her on any of her social medias to do that because she's constantly working on different projects, working with nonprofits that are really inspiring, and just like living a very interesting, fascinating, curious life.
Yeah.
So without further ado, enjoy this episode of Not Too Deep with Alyson Stoner.
Not too deep. With Grace Helbig.
This episode of Not Too Deep is brought to you by our good buddies at Squarespace.
What a joy.
I know. We love them so much because they love us.
I don't know why or how, but they do, and we appreciate it so deeply. Squarespace makes it easier than ever to launch your passion project, guys. If you're looking to start a new business, if you want to showcase your work, publish content, sell products, or any and all of the above, Squarespace is the tool for you.
They've got beautiful templates created by world-class designers and the ability to customize just about anything with a few clicks. You, yes, you, can easily make a beautiful website yourself. And I know because I've done it
Spoilers.
using Squarespace.
They have a powerful e-commerce functionality that lets you sell anything online, and they have analytics that help you grow your site in real time.
Everything is optimized for mobile right out of the box, and there's nothing to patch or upgrade ever.
I don't even know how to begin doing patching or upgrading.
And if you're in the market for buying domains, that's also very simple. And you'll get all the help you'll need with their 24/7 award-winning customer support.
Look, guys, Squarespace empowers millions of people, from designers to lawyers, artists to gamers, even restaurants and gyms. Turn great ideas into something real. So head to squarespace.com/grace for a free trial. And when you are ready to launch, use the offer code GRACE to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
That's squarespace.com/grace. Offer code GRACE.
Not too deep.
For many of us, the day doesn't start until we get that morning energy boost.
I could not subscribe to that harder.
Of course, I'm talking about coffee.
Yes.
And now there is a new way to enjoy your daily cup of joe thanks to Caffé Monster.
Ooh la la.
I know, Monster's gotten all fancy.
Guys, listen to this. It's available in vanilla, mocha, and salted caramel. Caffé Monster is shaking up the ready-to-drink coffee category with indulgent gourmet coffee that's only 190 calories.
Not to mention with 150 milligrams of caffeine from coffee beans, B vitamins, and coffee fruit extract.
You are saying this with such intensity.
Look, I am serious about my coffee, Grace.
I know you are.
And Caffé Monsters offers a simplified energy blend that contains a third less sugar than the leading national brand.
Yeah, in fact, it's 100 fewer calories per bottle than the competition, but you'd never know that by tasting it. Instead, you get all the same feel and flavor as your local coffee house.
And you don't have to wait in line.
Oh, I hate being out in public ever.
And these are really delicious. They sent us like 30 cases of them.
I literally had 8 of them sitting on my counter, and I tasted them. And yeah, I did, not to mention another brand, taste the rainbow when I did. It was delicious.
So try it out, guys. Caffé Monster. Chill it down, shake it up, and enjoy.
We're beginning. Yay, Alyson Stoner's here. This is so exciting.
Hi.
Hi, thank you for making time.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, you're doing a million things right now. Your EP came out earlier this year, right?
Yes, I've been releasing song by song.
Yeah. How's that been going for you? I'm Huge fan.
The
Love
sales
all
are at an all-time high.
Yeah, that's great.
My soul is at an all-time low.
Sure. I mean, that must be, especially when you release them one by one. You're like in a constant state
Campaign.
of like, how are people going to like this one? How are they going to like this one?
I don't drink, but I've heard of the term rallying, and I feel like I'm in a musical rally.
That
which
makes
is like,
sense.
we can do this.
Yeah.
Another song.
But they're really, really well done.
Thanks.
They're very much like Janet Jackson to me. Like the style of it is very cool. And you just released a music video where it's in 3D technically.
So it's anaglyph technology, and when you wear decoder glasses, you can watch different versions because certain elements that are in blue or red will disappear or appear.
Whoa. Because you can, I watched it with my normal human eyes and I was like, this is cool and stylized. And then I like looked into it. I was like, wait a minute, there's way more to this than what I'm just seeing.
Well,
That's awesome.
it's super high concept because everyone's releasing music videos, content all the time.
Yeah.
So of course you want to stand out, but above all else, I'm just bored with everything that I'm seeing.
How
the
do you
formula.
make something more interesting?
And so Nem Perez, the director, came up with this idea and sent me the treatment. I was like, we absolutely have to do this because this will make me show up to work excited.
Yeah.
As opposed to another day at the office,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. No, that's awesome. It's very, very cool. And how many more do you have to go?
I have another song that I'm really excited about. Like, I don't say that for everything.
No, it's good. Just remind yourself.
That last one. Forget that junker.
Garbage. I have another song that I think we're releasing this month, which is my birthday month, August. I don't know when you're going to play this.
This might come out in a couple weeks,
Okay.
but you'll be
The 27th.
I'll be
post-birthday. Old. Officially old.
Yay.
Welcome, friend.
Yay. Not too deep. Alyson explores her existential quarter-life crisis.
And feel free to get deep on this podcast now. We've been doing it for 5 years, and it started out very, very like silly, and now I'm just fascinated by people, so I probably will ask you questions that are a little bit deeper.
Like Humans of New York-ish. Are you familiar?
No, what's that?
Oh, it's just this photographer and writer who sort of does these mini exposés and like little anecdotes on random people he sees
walking on the
in New
street?
York. Yeah, and you get the best stories.
That's very cool. That's where Jack and I met in New York, and it's a great town to overhear snippets of conversations and
Yes.
wonder what's happening in the rest of that person's life.
Right.
But you're from Ohio.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything you miss about Ohio?
Well, have you ever seen Flatland? Then you've seen Ohio.
Yeah.
And I feel like mountains are a little more interesting to gaze upon. No, I miss my family, of course.
Yeah.
But I think artistically and just curiosity-wise, Los Angeles is a little more stimulating. However, social media and I guess being in the information age now, I think a lot is getting around.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
So when I go back to visit, I don't have to explain exactly what I do for a
Gotcha.
living.
Yeah.
They kind of know.
They're a little bit more
Ish.
informed, a little
They
bit more
don't,
open-minded.
they don't understand musicians in Ohio.
They understand musicians, but the industry is just this enigma. Well,
The industry is an enigma to me, too. The music industry seems so bizarre right now.
it's I think one of the most terrible industries to be in.
Wow.
It is insanely stressful. I mean, I think you can only be in it if you have a good sense of humor about it, how ridiculous it is that we like put ourselves in these situations of constant judgment.
Yes.
Where we could just be, like bank tellers and be maybe okay with our lives and have some decent hobbies that don't,
I made a
don't
terrible
require-
mistake.
that don't require like
Absolute numbness to survive.
cross social media promotions and judging numbers and working to appease brands. So fun. Okay, I watched a video of yours from last year, a Q&A, and it was so insightful. It was so interesting because I think maybe a lot of people look at you as like just a performer rather than like a person a lot of times. So I think it's really interesting to be able to use YouTube as a tool to be like, here's my thoughts and feelings about things.
Right.
How is that balance for you?
Well, I think you straddle the line of wanting to be honest, but knowing that without this like incredible amount of context for people, no one's ever really going to understand where you're coming from.
Right.
So even though I've lived, I've lived all of these years in all of these experiences, when I go to tell someone this happened 10 years ago, they have no reference point for the kind of person I am, for what I believe, for what I value. And so I find that I'm constantly like, all right, how do I build this puzzle piece by piece for people so that they see the mosaic of who I am and get a glimpse of my truth,
Right.
while not feeling entitled to it.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing about
Right after.
the internet too, is like the push-pull of, and I go through this a lot, and we've talked about this before, of like how much of yourself do you give online to create an
Right.
authentic persona versus how much do you keep for yourself a little bit, just so you
Right.
know that you don't owe anyone anything.
Yeah, and as an artist too, I enjoy creating the
Right.
persona. So sometimes it's an authentic, maybe it's a parallel dimension of who I could be if I exploited that particular trait. And so
Yeah.
for that one story, I want to be able to be this vixen or this rebel. But in reality, that's, just a small fraction of who I am. And so when I'm creating music and I'm making, producing content, I'm like, how do I do this without people seeing this and judging me solely as if this is the entirety of who I am?
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. I think especially for someone like you that is, a singer, a dancer, a performer, that you're constantly evolving as an artist. And so you're
Right.
constantly exploring different avenues of like your persona, like you said. Is there one avenue that you haven't explored yet? Because I think I was going through your Instagram too, and I was like, damn, your style is so good and so
What?
edgy and so cool and
Wait,
so
what?
hip. I was like,
what do you mean style?
what, we were saying what to the girl wearing sweatpants and drinking tea right now?
I'm wearing a shirt with holes in it.
Fair, but you make it look good.
Aw,
How is what's like the next evolution?
The next evolution is the most terrifying one for me, and that's the sort of sexualization of my persona and what I share in my art. I am actually writing an article right now, and no one even asked me to. I just want someone to read this.
Yeah.
Because I've had such a challenge growing up at 6 years old. I had no idea the implications, the pressures that I'd face.
Right.
And suddenly you reach an age where your peers are being sexualized and for roles, and they greeted it with excitement, and I froze.
Oh, yeah.
My athleticism no longer served me. I had to wear lace shirts to book roles, and there was a very cookie cutter, homogenized version of sexy and sex appeal, and I was just not great at it. And also really uncomfortable thinking about my young fans watching this. I wanted to be a role model. It's just so many layers. And now I'm like, okay, I'm turning 25. Like if I don't allow the natural development of my sexuality to be expressed, then I'm actually limiting this vital part of being alive and being human. So the song that I'm releasing, I kind of am ready, and I didn't even know that I was going to be ready, but intuitively it's like now's the time. You're turning 25. Like share that you are a sexual person.
Yeah.
But try to convey it in a way that opens a dialogue of self-respect and personal expression, as opposed to exploiting it for monetary gain and objectifying yourself. It's just like, it's so freaking layered.
There's so many, and it's hard because you can't control the way someone watching it interprets what you're doing. But I think as long as you're honest, because it seems like you've found a freedom in doing it on your terms, instead of having someone come in and direct a video and saying, this is what you're wearing, I don't want you to wear that. This is how you're dancing, I don't want you to dance like that.
Right.
So now you get to explore it yourself. And I think when you, like you said, what you're doing right now feels true to you, I think that'll come across.
I mean, and if I'm not going to do it at 25, like I'm really limiting the stories I can tell. Falling in love, and
you got 32 to look forward to dressing like this. It's not that bad. Wait till you get a dog. It really shuts the sexual world down in a hard way.
I think when I look at nature, when I spend time traveling, and nature has this beautiful like menagerie of sexuality sexuality and sexual expression and intuition, there's that mystery and that curiosity to know more. I'm so intrigued by it. And like I go to other countries where nudity is just the norm because kids grow up seeing nude bodies everywhere. So it's not hypersexualized. And I wish that I, here could have had the same exposure so that I didn't automatically think sex was like this terrible
taboo thing. Yeah. It was off limits or something negative about it or something scandalous about it, that it was just natural.
So I'm just trying to be a little sexier.
There you go.
That's where I'm going.
I think that's great. That's very exciting. And I think that's good because I'm sure your fan base has grown up with you.
Right.
And so they're at an age too where they're also like wondering.
They're way more experienced than I am. I'm back here like, do you guys, are you sure you really want to wear that? I don't want any attention. No one look at me, please. No one look at me. I know I chose to wear lingerie in this video, but please don't watch that part.
What's the, I'm sure you have this a lot, but what's the weirdest like fan interaction you've had or like someone coming up to you on the street or noticing you somewhere?
I think two come to mind. When I was on tour with the Jonases, it wasn't really for me, it was probably for them, but they got to me first. We were leaving one of the venues and I'm pretty sure they either broke into the car window or like opened it somehow and reached in and like grabbed my shoulder and my neck.
Yeesh.
Yeah, right?
Just like young fans?
Yeah, rabid
Wow.
fans.
Clearly, they're breaking windows to get to you.
Wow. I mean, anything for Kevin, Nick, and Joe. And then the other one that I think was for me, I hope it wasn't for Kevin, Nick, and Joe, because this would be awkward. I was at a basketball tournament and a girl came into the restroom and opened my stall and demanded that I signed toilet paper and she wouldn't leave until, and I'm like,
oh my
midstream,
God.
you know,
That's insane.
could we call this inappropriate conduct? Maybe
100%.
But like she's
humans
12.
have boundaries.
That's insane.
Wow, what a bizarre mission to go on. To be like, I'm gonna kick down that stall door and she's gonna sign this toilet paper.
She knew there was a high chance that I would be alone and vulnerable.
She caught you in your literal most vulnerable position. That's wow.
That's
okay.
insane.
Note to future people that want to come up and say hi. Don't do that at all or anything like that. Wow, that's
a good way to get a restraining order.
Yeah, right?
That's insanely specific. Speaking of people that broke into things, I saw that you tweeted that you woke up to a guy breaking into your house and then you had a nice conversation with him.
Yeah, what's that about?
Okay, well, let's give a little context.
Please.
So I work a lot with at-risk youth, homeless families, and gang involved, formerly incarcerated, people who maybe are on the fringes of society, you know? And so to me, whenever I see someone acting out in a certain way, I go, okay, well, clearly they're either operating on a survival or they need something. They're looking for something. And so I walked outside. I was broken into twice the night before, and then I was going out to see what else was taken and found him holding the belongings in his hands.
Oh my God.
And
wait, so it was the same person 2 times?
I don't know who the first person was. I'm guessing they were connected. Maybe not. Maybe I need to move. But I did. I had a conversation with him and I ended up asking for the belongings back, but in exchange gave him something that I think he actually needed. Because my theory is people who are that desperate need to know that the world is not against them. And so even though he was trying to steal from me, I wanted to give to him and let him know that there are friends out there if he asks for help. And the programs, the city is not designed for them to thrive, you know? Right. So my hope is that in that one little small act, and trust me, not everyone, wants to have a conversation. Sometimes they run. I've been broken into many times.
Yeah, but also on both sides, you even having that recognition and doing that
it
is
made
nuts.
It made it easy because I was actually just with my friends who are currently homeless, and I was getting them a new tent because they had a bunch of holes in it, and so I think just having been with them was like an immediate. It made
empathy trigger.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And hey, if I can create triggers for empathy, like
you're doing a good job.
That's a great phrase because we're obsessed with using the word trigger in all of these other mental health conditions and all these things. I would love to create empathy triggers. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm about to coin that. I'll give you 5%.
That's fine. You can have it.
Our gift to you for making time for us. Okay, so how did this result? Like, what was the resolution here?
The resolution was I gave him something and he actually what happened. I gave him something, and immediately upon receiving it, after dismissing a few times and saying like, no, I can't take this.
Yeah.
He immediately almost word vomited out what was happening in his life.
Really?
And it could be a completely fabricated story.
Yeah.
But he wasn't using it as a tactic to get anything. It was a response to receiving.
Oh.
So I think there's some legitimacy in it. And he shared, that he had just been laid off, and this kind of used to be his lifestyle, and it was sort of like going back to what's familiar until he can figure out the next solution.
Yeah.
And hearing that he had a family, he even shared where he stayed. And so in my head, I'm like, oh, good, I can like cook him a meal and go hang out with him. And I'm like, maybe I should have set some boundaries.
Yeah. So I'm like, man, you might end up with a roommate out of this.
Totally.
So
Let's not mistake my kindness for weakness. I'm very aware of like the psychological risks and factors here.
Yeah. What
this
was
is life.
What was the actual like moment where you came around the corner and you just saw him holding stuff?
Okay.
Because I think I would have been like fight or flight, like definitely flight.
No, here is where I wish I had flight or even fight response. I freeze.
Oh, really? So you're just in that purgatory pit.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we just stared at each other. And because I didn't know if maybe he was a neighbor's friend or, I didn't know, like, do you belong here? Are you supposed to be here?
Yeah.
And we have different people working on different projects around. So I'm like, okay, who are you?
Yeah.
What are you holding?
Yeah.
What do you need?
Yeah.
And that was the start. That was the start of the beautiful moment. Also, his name was Darwin. So when I think of the survival of the fittest, I thought that was very...
So like the universe is showing me something right now.
Yeah, and I just thought, what a messy and beautiful reality. I will never forget him. So
wow,
hopefully he's doing better.
Good on you to make art out of every situation. It sounds like you really can see the beauty in things, and that's a really wonderful quality.
Well, we're all the same.
Yeah.
We're all the same. It's just different circumstances. And
no, it's true.
We make choices for many reasons. So it could have been me in his position.
Wow,
I hope he would do the same.
You're a good person.
I don't know about that.
Jack, that's what I was telling. I was like, Jack, get ready, because she's very wise.
Oh, no.
And she's very profound.
Jeez.
And she's very like analytical in a positive way about things.
Or this is all my ploy to create a compassionate brand and persona.
And
man.
you're a big old bitch on the inside.
All right, now we're back to cynicism, a place where I feel comfortable.
Here's a question. What's the most annoying piece of misinformation you've read about yourself?
Oh my gosh.
I'm sure that
there must be a ton.
I'm sure you've read a ton of stuff online that's like, what? Where does this even come from?
Yeah, I return to this story because it's just absurd, and it's that I have glass eyes.
What? There's a rumor that you have 2 glass eyes?
I think at least one.
That's insane.
Oh my God. Okay. Okay. When did this start?
When I was a teenager. So imagine my like pubescent self who is super insecure already, and then having anything false about my appearance.
Oh my God, what a weird leap.
Right?
To go from, she just looks like optimistic and inquisitive about the world. She must have glass eyes.
That's insane.
No one can see the world with that wide-eyed awareness.
How do you debunk something like that?
You just put a YouTube video. If YouTube existed, I would have just put a video up where I showed you how my eyes coordinate.
Also, yeah, anyone that's ever seen a real glass eye in someone, it doesn't move along with the other eye ever.
Not in perfect synchronicity.
Yeah.
We've made quantum leaps in technology, but you could usually tell.
Well, your glass eyes look great.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, for when you got them when you were a teen, you got them really well done. So
I would have chosen blue
surgeries.
eyes. Like, come on,
Exactly. I had that too
brown.
growing up. I wish that I had blue eyes. And I remember I did a job once where they gave me green contacts that I had to wear, and it really didn't do much for my eyes because it's hard to cover up brown. But I still was like, I look so exotic right now. This is amazing. And even though it was scratching my corneas the whole time. So
that's
fun.
what contacts are. It's so fun.
It's so nuts. Well, okay, so you're super busy all the time. You're working on so many different projects. What do you do to wind down? You mentioned like going into nature and stuff like that, but are there any like guilty pleasure things you do? Any like I watch terrible reality television. I don't want to call it terrible anymore, but
I can't.
that's good for your brain. Preserve your brain. Mine's gone. Yeah.
I just find it kind of boring. I wish I could like watch The Bachelor with friends and they have these girls' nights and I'm like, are we watching Einstein in a documentary or not? Because if we're not, like, I gotta go.
Well, what's your like go-to thing to watch?
Einstein documentaries.
Yeah, liquid science.
Cool.
Whoa, what's that?
Larger life questions like, climate and even immortality, but he combines it with his background in hip hop culture and you're able to like get this grounded, accessible version to huge problems.
Wow. Where is this playing?
It's on the Netflix, I believe.
The Netflix.
I've missed this.
So
this
did
sounds
I.
great.
It's really cool.
That's very cool.
They did one on like I think cryopreservation is what it's called, where people who want to
freeze themselves,
and they're showing you the tanks, and they're showing you also like subterranean communities in case we ever have to live underground.
Boy. I don't know if I could do that.
But it's really
claustrophobic.
interesting, and he's just cool, So I'm able to understand without having to like look up every term every 5 minutes.
Is there a rose ceremony at the end of every episode?
No.
Does someone get voted off? I just want to know that someone wins and someone loses, and that it's public and it creates really large rifts. And I want to be able to go on their Instagrams and follow up with where they're at in their lives now.
We love polarity.
Love it.
We really do.
I love creating personas out of people that are fully human. So you watch Liquid Science. Do you do any like activities like cooking or painting or?
I do love painting and drawing. I also I've taken up meditation.
Ooh.
And not just to practice mindfulness and like for the holistic health benefits, which are manifold, but also creative exploration. So you can do specific things around visualization and
you like meditate on something.
Yeah, but also like that's where new ideas have been birthed for music videos for.
Oh, nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really neat.
I've been doing meditation. And
cool.
It's
not the same.
It's just life changing.
Oh, good, good. Yeah.
Have you dabbled in the world of lucid dreaming at all?
I have tried. I also use sleep hypnosis videos to reprogram different thought processes.
What do you mean?
So if you just search sleep hypnosis online, and I'm sure there are some silly ones, but you can pick a topic. It could be stress relief. It could
Does it really hypnotize you?
It's so it's sort of repetitive. It's a mantra that plays overnight, and that you're
While
able
you're
to.
sleeping. Interesting.
Whoa, okay, I have to do this. I dated a guy in college that was studying like neuroscience in the brain and meditation and all of that, and he was studying hypnotherapy.
Yay!
And he would try it on me a few times, and I never fully like went under completely. I think it's because we were dating, and so I was like always aware, like this is my boyfriend doing this to me right now. But no, that sounds really fascinating. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, and I'm like so curious. So I went to like a past life regression workshop recently. I went to this shamanic breathing workshop where they're playing like Native American flute music, and you're using breathing manipulation to induce different experiences.
Wow.
And because I'm boring in regards to substances. Like I don't even drink caffeine. I don't drink alcohol. I don't smoke. I'm just boring.
That's the key to keeping your brain wide open and curious.
So meditation for me is like that's my high
drug,
because I'm also expanding my consciousness in a way that like. To me, the universe, obviously, it's just infinitely interesting. So that's where I know I'll never hit too high or too low. And it'll just completely expand continually.
Whoa. Yeah. So you'll never burn out. No. And you'll never overdose.
See?
Wow.
I'm just saying.
That's good.
God, I feel like I'm getting a free therapy session. Thank you for being
on
this.
Can you overdose on meditation? I wonder.
You can levitate.
I've heard that. I've heard that, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know how true it is. But.
I've seen it, so it would be weird if it wasn't true.
What? You've seen somebody meditate, levitate?
I've seen a lot of things that are reasons why I question, spirituality, and I have all of these like deep desires to know more. It's because like I've seen people, we should not talk about this on a podcast.
No, I'm fascinated. The world is infinite and it's very bizarre. But will you come back once you've figured out how to?
Yeah,
can
for
you
sure,
show
for sure.
us?
Yeah,
I
with a
really-
3-step process. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll just make it simple, easy.
That sounds perfect.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I would much rather fly places than, drive.
God, we
know?
saved the earth.
Okay, quick story on flying.
Yeah.
So I've always wanted my aviation license, but also expensive. So I recently met someone who works at JPL and helps teach people how to fly. And I'm hopefully going to maybe start taking a course if I, save
Wow.
up.
You
That would be
should.
so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, it'd be so cool.
You can get your pilot's license.
Yeah, you can do like flight simulators on computers. There's all kinds of things.
Hell yeah.
That would be nuts. That would be so nuts. I mean, yeah, that would be the easiest form of travel.
Yeah, right?
Pardon
you
me.
can land anywhere. I'm sure there's a parking spot.
That's what Harrison Ford does. He
Yeah.
lands wherever the fuck he wants.
That's true. He did do that.
Okay, before we cut to the break, what's on your bucket list and what's something major on your bucket list you've already ticked off?
Oh, wow. Okay. Something that I've ticked off was playing Madison Square Garden.
Oh, nice.
And
Wow, cool.
and the best part about that is it wasn't because I was associated with like a huge franchise like Camp Rock or
Right.
another project. I actually was invited because of a video I created on my YouTube channel and
That's
was
cool.
like,
Amazing.
yay, that's positive reinforcement
Yeah.
if I've ever seen it. And then something on my bucket list is I really want to go on a Nat Geo trip, if not something similar, to Antarctica.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do that, right?
Yes, you can.
They have their different excursions and
What's the first step to getting you to do that?
I don't know, girl. I haven't Googled it yet, but
Okay, well,
Pretty
I'm
sure
excited.
you fly to South America and then you take a boat. That's what I've heard.
I'm so in.
Yeah.
No,
I don't know.
no
It
need
sounds,
to Google.
It sounds too scary to me. I don't know. It's so isolated. Yeah, being in Antarctica.
Isolated. Oh,
I didn't
did
actually
it.
mean to make a pun there, but thank you for
But
noticing.
you'll take it. I think first step is manifesting, putting it out there, saying it out loud,
Right.
and then bringing it back to the world and let the universe decide. Okay, we're gonna take a quick break, and when we get back, we have a bunch of Twitter questions for you. That
Oh,
are
no.
very fun. They run the gamut. We'll be right back with Alyson Stoner on Not Too Deep.
Not too deep.
This episode of Not Too Deep is brought to you by HelloFresh.
Ooh.
I am excited. I love HelloFresh. If you don't know what it is a meal kit delivery service that shops, plans, and delivers step-by-step recipes and pre-measured ingredients so you can just cook, eat, and enjoy.
Yeah, HelloFresh has 3 plans to choose from. They've
Mm-hmm.
got classic, veggie, and family. So there's something for everyone.
You have options, and ingredients are delivered right to your door and come in handy, pre-measured, labeled meal kits that only take about 30 minutes to prepare.
There's even a 20-minute meal on the classic menu every week for when you're really pressed for time, which is nice.
We've all been there, and this is very relatable. So rediscover the excitement of cooking, knowing dinner just got that much easier with HelloFresh.
No more planning, spending money on takeout, or worrying about gathering ingredients. They believe that cooking should be simple and convenient, not a chore.
They make it easy to enjoy week after week with the ability to choose your delivery date to match your schedule and even pause deliveries when you're on vacation.
Which is a really great feature because...
Oh, God. I'm a terrible scum person in general, and I have completely forgotten about these subscription meal kits that get delivered.
Then you come home and you find...
And you have to throw it all in the garbage because it's been sitting in the sun for 5 days. And you feel like a completely incapable human being.
Yeah, especially because these meals are so good.
They're really good.
They are delicious and they're like...
Self-esteem building, honestly, when you make them. Yeah.
They make you feel fancy.
They make you feel capable of like creating things you never knew you could. But get this, for a total of $60 off, that's $20 off your first 3 boxes, you can go visit HelloFresh.com/NTD60 and enter the code NTD60.
NTD obviously is for not too
Too
deep,
Deep.
and it's for $60 off. So it's like receiving 6 meals for free when you go to HelloFresh.com/NTD60 and enter code NTD60.
Not too deep.
If you guys know me, you know that my idea of a shower is deodorant. And that's why I'm so excited that this week's sponsor for our podcast, Not Too Deep, is Copari. Listen, I've got to tell you about the aluminum-free deodorant that has changed the game for me, Copari. They have a coconut deodorant, aluminum-free, and it doesn't suck. I know that there's been this new wave of aluminum-free deodorants, and to be very honest, I've tried a few, and some of them are pretty terrible. But Kopari's deodorant takes the care of smell without plugging up your sweat glands and messing with your body's natural patterns. It doesn't leave behind a sticky white residue, just the subtle scent of coconut milk. And most importantly, it works. It fights odor with plant-based actives such as sage oil and coconut oil and is free of silicone, sulfates, parabens, GMOs, and baking soda. It's gotten a lot of love from editors at Cosmo and People, and there are thousands of 5-star reviews on Kopari's website for people who are new to the now converted coconut lovers. Copari offers a money-back guarantee, so there's no reason not to try, but hurry up because they can barely keep it in stock. Like I said, I've tried it. It has helped my body in more ways than one. So say aloha to Copari. Go to coparibeauty.com/grace to make the safe switch today and see how you can save $5 off your first order. That's Copari, Kopari beauty.com/grace, coparibeauty.com/grace.
Okay, we're back with Alyson, and we're before we get into the Twitter questions, I'm going to ask you the 2 questions I ask every guest that's on the podcast. And the first is, who, alive or dead, would you most want to throw cold spaghetti at?
Oh, cold spaghetti?
Yep.
Like knees weak, arms are heavy. Is vomit on a sweater already?
Yeah.
Is it an insult or is it an act of love?
That's up to the person throwing it.
Wow.
Yeah, it really depends on how you throw it, you know?
Because I'm thinking like, I really respect Michelle Obama, so I would love to be in the same room close enough to her within cold spaghetti
Throwing
distance.
Yeah.
But I don't think that I want to throw spaghetti at her.
You could
Could I hand it to her?
You could throw it at her dog.
You could hand it to her.
I'd like to hand it to her because then I'm even closer.
Well, we have not gotten that answer ever. So
Yeah, what do you think
thank
Michelle Obama would say when you handed her a handful of cold spaghetti?
I think she'd be so cool with it. I think she'd be like,
She's just
thank you
cool.
so much.
Yeah, no, she
What's
is so
your
cool.
name? I think she'd be fascinated by it. And then she'd
Security
probably,
wouldn't.
Yeah, security wouldn't, but then she'd talk to you about like the health benefits and child's lunches and things like that.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
That'd be great. Okay, the other question I ask every guest is to tell us your worst pants shitting story or a close call. You can only use 3 words or 3 small phrases. So, or a combination of them. So mine is college, jogging, front lawn. Yeah. It was a time. It was a time.
Pants shitting?
Or like pants pissing, just like bathroom emergency close call.
Okay. Chile opening act.
Oh, no.
Wow. That, okay.
Oh, no.
Wow. All right, no follow-up questions. Okay, now we're going to get into these Twitter questions. Someone wants to know, what do you enjoy more, singing or dancing?
I think that's everyone's favorite question to ask me.
Yeah, we got a lot of those.
Yeah, I think music right now is writing music allows me to be so much more specific in a way that people will really understand because we're using the same language of words.
Yeah.
Whereas dance is a little more up for interpretation. So I think singing and songwriting are maybe taking precedence right now.
Yeah, I'm sure it fluctuates all the time based on like how you want to express yourself.
It fluctuates and my body undulates. Hey. Word. No.
No, I like it. I thought it was
like
great.
it.
Very clever.
Write it
Thanks.
down. Someone wants to know, do penguins have knees? If you're going to Antarctica,
Yeah, you're going to need to know the answer to this
it should
question.
be preemptive.
Honestly, I'm not even going to look it up until I'm there so that I can come back with a cool story about how they do or do not.
I'm pretty sure they don't, because otherwise why would they waddle like that, you know?
Maybe they just have bad knees.
That's a great case. Both of those are great cases.
Either way, they're hilarious. Okay, someone wants to know, if you saw Jessica Biel in person, what would be the first thing you say to her? Are you a massive Jessica Biel fan?
I mean, I think I'm blushing right now. Wow. I was just looking at a photo of her on Pinterest yesterday.
Go on.
And she had like bleach blonde hair, platinum blonde hair in it. And I was like, how do you still pull off everything
She
you
can do everything.
And she was looking over her shoulder so you could see just her perfect behind that she works out consistently for.
Yeah.
And my crush on her was not romantic at first. It was definitely like, wow, she is physical fitness goals.
Yeah.
And then suddenly I was like, oh, my body feels warm.
Like, oh, this is crossing over into a different territory.
So I think my first word to Jessica would probably be,
I think she gets that a lot.
Yeah.
I have a feeling she wouldn't feel weird about it because I feel like that's probably a lot of people's first response to her.
Yeah.
She's one of those actresses and just like general people that even though she's so not accessible, feels so accessible.
yes.
Like she just feels normal,
Like
but
a normal
like
person.
she feels like the most awesome
Unattainable.
girl in your high school that you're like,
Yes.
how is she so good at everything? And she's also friends with everyone. She's not a bitch.
Yes.
Versus like Angelina Jolie, who you're like, I'm not even sure she's from this planet.
Yeah, she practiced Wiccan at lunch. I don't know.
she has her aviation license.
Does
just
she?
saying.
Yeah,
Really?
she seems like a badass.
She's the reason I thought about becoming a pilot.
well, she's got too many kids. She can't go through TSA anymore. She's gonna fly them herself. Someone wants to know. You've worked with a ton of people and different collaborators online. Are there any other YouTube artists that you are dying to work with?
Grace Helbig.
It's happening. It's already happened.
Woo. I think
But just like we can expand this. Like who in just the entertainment industry is someone that you'd be dying to work with?
I follow her, but I've never actually heard her name pronounced out loud. Is it Lena Waithe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lena is amazing. Yara, is it Yara Shahidi? Shahidi. And Amandla Strandberg. I don't know their names perfectly, but I read everything that they say.
Yeah.
I just really respect them and their point of view and what they're doing artistically. So I'd want to work with them. And then there is a YouTube channel. I don't know if they're even active anymore. Yes Theory. Where they just sort of want to be adventurous and push each other outside of their comfort zones. So that they would be fun to collaborate with.
Yeah, you talked about travel a little bit. Is there any world where you would do travel vlogging sort of thing?
Yeah, if you want to sponsor my
Let's get
flights
Kontiki
to
in here.
India and
Oh, yeah. That's the other
everywhere.
thing, too, is like when you travel, you have to pay for all of it.
money things.
Do you want to go on like one of those like sort of spiritual journey like?
You're the 12th person. I must be giving off this.
Well, just because we were talking about meditation
Yeah,
earlier,
right.
and because I have a friend
What's
who just got
your-
back from Bali, and
Oh, that's the place to go.
yeah,
To be awakened.
And she wasn't going for that reason, but like everybody there was like, "You want to go eat, pray, love, eat, pray, love," and she's
Right.
like, "No, I just want to go to a beach. I'm
I
cool."
actually bought the audiobook of Eat, Pray, Love last night because I was doing something and I just heard someone laugh at me. Rude. I bought it because it was like the 6th person to say that I either reminded them of Elizabeth Gilbert or
It's a
I
good
was
book.
going through something similar. And so I was like, all right, let's see what this shit is all about.
I think I read it after I graduated college and I loved it. And I was like, oh my God, this woman's on a journey. She's finding herself. I'm in that space right now. This is so cool.
Okay, good.
And so you'll love it. And then I found out later that she had gotten advanced to write that book. Like she didn't.
Oh, that's so funny.
I
She's like,
know.
I'm going to go on a spiritual journey
I
and
don't
write
know
a
how
best-selling book
authentic.
about it. That's
I
amazing.
don't know how authentic that is, but having now written books, I believe that that's a little bit of what happened.
Yeah,
She was
sure.
an
Right.
author preemptively, and so it was like, oh, you're going on these travels? Okay, what if you wrote about them, sort of thing.
That's
but
funny.
That
I'm
said,
really open to being funded to
yeah,
write
how have you not written a
anything.
book? I mean, you're writing these beautiful articles now. I read the Teen Vogue one, which was really, really, really well
Yeah,
done.
that was
Thanks.
great.
But and you're writing this other one.
I think that's sort of my way of saying I'm earning my stripes, and I'll share article by article, and then if I want to pitch ideas, I'll at least have something to show for it. Because I feel like a lot of
Yeah.
my friends are, no offense, best-selling authors, but they did not write a damn line in their book.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
I'm just not interested in regurgitating information that's already available from a bunch of other people.
Right.
So, I want to find the angle that's interesting, but also remember that, every generation, that's how information is spread and passed on. And I should share the story just so new people can find the things that I learned from other people.
Sure.
It's just weird because I don't like ironically, I don't like the attention on me. I don't like credit to my name for concepts that clearly are universal laws, you know?
Sure.
But
I think there's universal laws, and then there's ways in which we interpret them, that if someone says something in a certain way, even though it's been said before, all of a sudden it brings a new understanding to other people. It's like you almost say it in their language.
Yeah.
And I think there's value in that sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's also, I think that's great that you're writing articles because you find your voice and how you write and like your tone and like what is your message.
Right. I mean, I would definitely welcome help from professional writers, you know. But I've written probably, 2,000 journals worth of material, and I just never realized that it could be commodified and commercially exploited for my own profit.
Or
just kidding.
To
inspire,
to provide hope and
compassion.
excitement.
So you're technically a quadruple threat then.
Whoa.
Because you act, dance, sing, and write now.
Yes.
Look at you.
I'll take that.
Sweet.
I'll take that.
A lot of people are asking, what role do you most get recognized from, and what's been your most favorite or proudest role?
I still get recognized quite a bit from Camp Rock because Disney is still rotating that through the programming.
Yeah, how long ago was that?
It had to be 10 years ago.
That's nuts.
Yeah, that was like the height of like Disney Channel
Fandom.
like craziness, right?
Right,
Yeah,
right.
I feel like YouTube wasn't a major thing then. So
it wasn't
was
a threat.
So yeah, so everyone that would be a YouTube audience demographic type of person
Oh, that's a good point.
is
Yeah.
on Disney.
Yeah, on the backside of that, learning about all of the struggles that the networks are facing to keep young people watching television.
Yeah.
And the tactics they're using to put influencers and creators
Yeah.
on shows and
They just need more toy unboxing.
toy unboxing.
Yeah, no, just like a big
Toy unboxing.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, right?
Yeah, no, we talked
kids
to
love that stuff.
Game live streaming.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I talked to Lucas Cruikshank a little bit about it too, and he's got a very hilariously, like, sweetly bitter perspective on it that I really enjoy hearing. It's very, very funny. He just says it with like a wry smile on his face the whole time, and I'm like, I'm reading between these lines. I see what's going on here.
That's so funny.
Someone asked, would you rather never be able to dance again or only be able to do meme dances / internet dance crazes like Gangnam Style, Soulja Boy, Harlem Shake?
Ew. I sadly would take the former.
Never dance again?
Yeah, I mean, okay.
Okay, where do you stand on the pressures to do these like dance challenges and things like that when they come around?
I abhor.
I'm sure.
From my point of view, for many reasons, but I'll say two.
Okay.
One, most people are not caring about the education and the origin of dance, right?
Right.
So they're not looking at it going, oh, we can respect ATL or St. Louis or New York for creating this vibe. They're just trying to capitalize on it.
Yeah.
And secondly, it's so reductionistic that it allows everyone to join in, which is a beautiful thing.
Right.
But for the artists who make a living doing it, knowing that we have to do this in order to get you to watch the rest of our stuff is just obnoxious.
Yeah.
So if you could do it in a social, fun way, which sometimes I do feel compelled to participate, but it's very rare.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it usually still has the motive, knowing, like when, everyone doing Kiki, Do You Love Me? I remember reading an article about the viral dance for that before it went viral. And I'm like, y'all don't even know that maybe I shouldn't say this, but fuck all of it. Like they perfectly planned and plotted out this viral dance challenge.
I trust nothing that blows up. I trust it all
Yeah.
goes back to a marketing campaign of
course.
sorts that's already pre-planned. I feel like
Right.
it's very, very rare that there's like a genuine, authentic,
Not
like
now.
explosion of something.
There's like a
Yeah.
marketing team being like, here's how we're going to make you go viral.
Right.
Yeah.
And because I was reading the article before that shit was viral.
Yeah.
So it's
Oh, interesting.
You're telling people that something is happening so that they search it, so that they participate, so they create it,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, okay, all right. I'm checking out. I just couldn't do that one, you know, even though it's amazing for other reasons. I don't want to knock it entirely, especially when you see young kids. Like if I'm teaching dance classes and they're busting out some of these viral dances, I'm like, this is cool. This is awesome to watch them bonding and sharing ideas and putting their own spin on it. But, you know, I prefer to go a little deeper.
I am with you. Yeah, I'm sure you get a lot of pressure from your audience to be like, Alyson's going to do it. I can't wait to see her version of it. And then it's like fulfilling, no level of fulfillment as an artist at all. And instead just like, now I'm a puppet to these people who want to see this.
And what's my shock value version of it? You know, my girl was on the freeway doing it.
Oh, I saw Chachi.
Yeah. And I was like, yo, girl, like I wanted to text her and be like, you're good, man. Like you're good without putting your life in danger.
Yeah.
Even though there's that fun, risky element of like, she can do whatever she wants. And I really love her and I love how talented she is.
Yeah.
And I think we're all just trying to figure out the balance of like, how do we stay true, but get seen enough? Because if you're not in the forefront enough, then that limits your other opportunities to expand your business and release music and have people find it, you know? So it's just, that's where we're at right now.
Yeah, that must be frustrating to feel this sort of push-pull and then people wonder why you didn't do it and like, what's wrong? Does she have beef with this song? What's going on? Is there a deeper thing here?
Of course.
Why can't I understand this? Why won't she just do it?
Right.
I
don't wanna.
Good reason.
On a slightly more fulfilling front, maybe, someone wants you to talk about Ethiopia, please.
Yay! Oh, okay. I'm going back end of September. I don't know how many trips it's been so far, but we hang out with the same families, and we're teaching economic sufficiency.
Is this for your nonprofit, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we're teaching economic sufficiency, but we're also, my favorite part is that it's not like a volunteeristic, we're showing up thinking we have the agenda in how to save and change your lives. It's, let me listen to what you actually need, how your culture and community operate, and work with the government, at least the less corrupt part of the government, to bring programs that will actually then employ your community and will be this, you know, self-reinforcing system where you guys are actually rising out of poverty and entering sustainability. And so we do teach trades and healthcare and life skills. We have, you know, but our thing is we don't just give handouts. It's very much like we hang out with you and we're here till the end. So, you know, the program doesn't last a week.
Yeah, this is I Pour Life, right? Okay.
Yeah. And we don't only, you know, it's not just global. We have local efforts as well, but it's just about restoring dignity and helping humans feel like humans again and giving them the opportunities to thrive. And so I think my favorite part being there is that, I mean, I learned so much more than they'll ever learn from me. And it's just so beautiful. Africa's by far my favorite place in the world. And I think my favorite part is that I know them all by name. And and they know that I'm coming back.
Oh, that's great.
And it's not just a stranger coming in real quick and trying to look like a good dude, you know?
Yeah, making a selfish attempt to like give back. Yeah.
It's like I'm able to check in and say like Amsala and see, for example, Amsala, I remember she kind of styled her hair differently. And that's when I knew she's exited the survival place and she's now onto personality and expression and just those small details that you realize like she would not be worrying about her hairstyle or even thinking to spend money on that. But she's now like starting her second business or these women, the kids are now being put through school and they're able to leave if they want, no force, you know, but they can leave where they're currently living and go to a little bit safer area or place or setup if they want.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just about being humans, you know, alongside each other. And it's one of the only nonprofits where I've seen the infrastructure and the back end. I know where the money's going. I know the approach and the philosophy, and I support it because it's a you know a holistic approach, and they're aware.
Yeah,
it's not, you know, they're not trying to appropriate. They're not trying to. You know, things get real messy.
Yeah. I'm sure it's handled delicately and it's handled just like with respect.
Yes.
Yeah. That's amazing. How big is the nonprofit?
It's not big at all.
And how did you get involved?
Oh God, the short story is that I was in the Mall of America doing a signing for a movie like years and years and years ago. A girl came up to ask for my autograph, and her mother was standing offside talking to another woman. They got to speaking about what each other does, and the woman explained, "Oh, I run this." Da 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 da. At that time, it was not what it is today, but. The other woman she was talking to was my mother, and my mother said, "Oh, I think my daughter would actually be super down to." I'm sure she used that word too. Yeah, super down to learn more. Yeah, and so the friendship started.
Super down.
Yeah, right. And thankfully, my mom is she was a former secretary, so she's like great with staying in touch with people and staying organized. So we did, and then several months later, she reached out and was like, "Hey, we're doing this self-respect tour. We just want to inspire young girls to feel like they don't have to objectify themselves in order to like find life options and opportunities. And would you want to speak?" And so it started there. Then we just kept growing and growing and growing. Suddenly we're in El Salvador, and then we're in Ethiopia, and it's awesome.
That's so cool. And when are you going back?
End of September, and it's just me and one other person. So I'm gonna get to like. It's going to be less of the group atmosphere of, what are we trying to accomplish?
Yeah. What's that like? You're just there kind of visiting and just like observing, and
I'm going to learn a more in-depth side to like the political environment and the community's needs and individual, how the individuals are doing, and be able to spend more one-on-one time instead of like, okay, we need to, reach this. I don't know. Yeah. I don't need to keep
I think it's
rattling on about it.
No, it's really fascinating. And I think, are people able to get involved with this nonprofit?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. ipourlife.org, I think is the website.
That's awesome.
Yeah, anyone can go, and it's great. I love it.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
On a much less deep note, someone wants to know, what's the strangest thing you've ever been asked to sign?
Well, the
Toilet paper.
Yeah, that's probably, I
don't know if you can beat that.
Because of the circumstance, that was a very strange thing all the way around.
Yeah, body parts.
Oh, you get body parts?
I used to, and that's the weird thing. The younger I was, the stranger the body part.
Oh, that's not a good diagram.
I know.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Someone wants to know, what's your least favorite cliche, quote, or phrase?
Oh, God. You know what? I'm just going to do me. I'm just going to do me.
I thought that was your lead into what you were going to tell me for a second. I was like, what?
That is the phrase because I'm like, what?
What does that mean?
Be aware of, when people use it in the sentence like, you know what? I could support my friend and I could go to her birthday party, but I'm just going to do me. I'm like, I think you're missing the point of what that could have been used for.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a really good one. Alternatively, what's your favorite quote or phrase?
I don't know if I started saying this or I read it somewhere, but seek first to understand before you expect to be understood.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah.
You got Jack thinking about it.
Yeah. Really pondering that one. That's good.
It saves a lot of arguments, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Because you're like, oh, interesting. Can you explain to me what you mean by that?
I feel like that's how they do like employee, like HR training. That's how like customer service. Because I just spent hours and hours and hours on the phone with Apple Care over the weekend, and it was one of the things where I'm a pretty patient person because I don't I could never do customer service. I would lose my mind. So I respect them for having this job. But it was all of these. You could tell like the pre-written scripts of being like, I am deeply sorry. I don't understand that you had to wait so long and you should not have to deal with this pain alone. And they just kept apologizing over and over. But it was as if they're reading from a paper the whole time. But I was like, I'll take it. I still appreciate it.
Man.
Someone wants to know, are you single? Asking for a friend. I'm the friend. They really went there. You don't have to answer that.
Great, I won't.
Highlight of her career? ?
Whoa, that's a highlight of my career.
I mean,
the top.
That's a hard one to even just put into one.
I don't know if I have enough time to think about
Everything
which moment
done.
that might be, but I can guarantee it's probably not what you're expecting because it's probably an obscure role somewhere that meant something to me.
Yeah. Okay, this one's deep. Which Jonas brother is secretly evil?
Whoa.
Yeah. You also don't have to answer that one.
Yeah, I won't.
It's probably for the best.
I mean, they're also all like celestial beings. So
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
it's hard to find evil in purity.
in things that are what
They're just really good guys.
the world needs.
Yeah.
What's your favorite genre of music to dance to?
World music. So
Oh.
I listen to a lot of playlists that are like, from Indonesia, India, Israel. I just like I don't listen to mainstream music unless I'm in the session trying to remember what's relevant. So I love African drums. And I hope to be able to incorporate some of these world elements, even subtly, into my future music, because that's what makes my heart beat and what makes me feel like I'm connected to anyone and everyone, regardless of where they are.
Drums are universal.
Yeah.
And on that note, a lot of people are just asking what's next.
What's next? Of course, more music. And I think I'm gonna go on my Eat, Pray, Love journey.
Yeah. Do it.
I would
Keep
love
those journals. Turn that
right?
into a book.
Yeah, I just want to start sharing these sides of myself. So thank you for letting me be way more open.
No, I was so excited that you were coming today because like I said, I watched his videos and I was like, and I know a lot of people probably have this mistaken identity of you as just a dancer or just a singer, but have so much more introspection to you that I find really fascinating. And it feels like it's just the start of you doing that.
Oh yeah, girl, I got layers.
Yeah, please, the world needs it. Well, we've reached the end of the podcast. Thank you for being here, Alyson.
Thanks.
We give every podcast guest a personalized fortune cookie for being here and being so gracious with their time.
What?
Yeah, I think Julie has it right here for you.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Thank you.
It might not be the crispest of fortune cookies, but
Oh, it's not.
Yeah,
You're right.
no,
it's a chewy fortune.
we like to shake things up a little
Chew
bit.
on this.
Yeah.
Okay. It says, wow, this is very long.
Yeah.
Who do you love will get stuck in everyone's head after they listen to the song, after listening to this episode, of course. But we can't complain because it's a banger.
Oh, wow. Weird.
What a fortune.
What a
Wow,
fortune.
crazy.
What a fortune.
God bless. I mean,
Who Do You Love is a great song that's available on Spotify and all music streaming platforms.
I think you guys should check it out if you haven't already. Where else can they find what you're up to if people don't already know?
Follow me, please.
I know, isn't that so bizarre? What a creepy phrase to say to people, to complete strangers.
Yes. Just my name. Type in my name on the Google, on the Instagram, on the Twitter, on the YouTube. And it's with a Y, but you know how to spell stoner, so I won't
There you
help
go.
you with that one.
Thanks again, Alyson. Go check her out if you haven't already. We'll see you next time on another episode of Not Too Deep. Goodbye.
Too deep, too deep, too deep, not too deep with Grace Helbig.
Cafe Monster is shaking up the ready-to-drink coffee category with indulgent gourmet coffee that's only 190 calories, available in mocha, vanilla, and salted caramel, with 150 milligrams of caffeine from coffee beans, B vitamins, and coffee fruit extract in every bottle. Cafe Monster offers a simplified energy blend that contains a third less sugar than the leading national brand, but you still get all the feel and flavor of your local coffee house. I mean, they sent me more than I could handle. I tried it. I thought it was delicious. So Cafe Monster, chill it down, shake it up, and enjoy.
Not Too Deep is a production of Grace Helbig Incorporated.
Produced and directed by Jack Ferry.
Producer Melissa D. Mons.
With writing by Diane Kang. Audio support by Chris Henry.
Editing by Melissa D. Mons.
And an extra special thank you to Flula for the theme music.